So what do we have here?
Here we have the inverter that's responsible for synchronizing the electronics of the system.
Okay. What does that mean?
So it basically means that you have a certain sort of electricity produced by the solar panels. It's called DC, which stands for direct current. Whereas the grid, where your electricity normally comes from, runs on AC, which is alternate current. And this machine here, which is called the inverter, is synchronizing those two.
The electrons come down here. When do they go into the house?
Actually, the electrons don't necessarily go into the house. So you're not dependent on is the sun shining or is it not shining. The electricity actually goes into the grid. The grid is more or less a big storage mechanism. And then you get your electricity again from the grid.
Interesting.
So that makes it much more flexible because imagine
much more stable.
You are at home. It's 10 p.m. at night. There's no sun, there's no solar electricity, you still need electricity.
Right.
And with this machine and with the electricity grid and the cooperation of the utility, it works.
Right. So I'm actually not using the electron when I plug in my toaster that's being generated on my roof, necessarily.
No, absolutely not. So one of the advantages is if a customer is not at home, doesn't consume any electricity, but still generates electricity because the sun is out, the electricity is still flowing, the meter is running backwards, and the utility now has a small power station that provides power to its grid, which other customers can use. Maybe just over the street here, the neighbor is using the electrons that this neighbor's system is producing.
I see.
So what you can now do is that a customer can come out and really decide, I have my own little utility on my roof. And it can be a residential or a commercial customers, and more make that choice.
Who else gets involved to make all this work well like that?
Typically, it would be us, would be companies like REC Solar that stand in between, that are certified to work with electricity. Because quite frankly, with these things, if you do it wrong, you can kill yourself. It takes us about 4 to 5 weeks to get the process started because there's a bit of paperwork involved, and just a few days to install the system. One of the great things of this is it's very maintenance-free. It's a different form of electricity where you have electrons being produced by the panels itself. It's a very direct form of electricity generation.
Just in terms of this investment, the homeowner then has gotten some of their own capital, but there are also some incentives that are provided to help.
Actually, there are two different ways. One is the homeowner invests his own money. He might also get it through a loan, and then he gets incentives from the utility that's providing some money and from the federal government that's allowing him to offset the 30% of the cost against his taxes. That is one possibility. Another option that we offer at REC Solar to our customers is that you don't own the system. There is a financial entity that owns the system and sells the electricity to the customer. And as a result, you don't pay up front, you pay by kilowatt hour.
So you're renting, basically.
You are renting your solar system and you are paying as you consume the electricity.
You're one of the largest, if not the largest, installers of distributed solar in the US, is that right?
Yeah, that's right. REC Solar is the largest one out there. The statistics are not always clear, but last year we installed slightly more than 1,500 solar systems for residential customers and quite a few large systems for commercial customers, which makes us the largest. In terms of people, it also shows there in 2005, when I joined the company, we were 25 people. As of now, we are more than 500. Thanks, guys.
What are some of the new technologies you see coming?
Generally, what I've seen is the efficiency of these panels is increasing.